Hey friends, welcome back to my kitchen. So today we're gonna be making some really simple oven meals. Sometimes the oven can be your best friend on busy days, and you can even meal prep entirely in your oven. So you all have seen me do that in many ways, shapes, and forms. So I've got a couple of really great, easy recipes with a variety of flavors and protein and all of that for you all today. So we're starting out with a cup of brown rice, and I'm gonna add some chicken broth to this. One thing that I did as I was planning out this little prep we're gonna do today is I really looked at oven temperatures, so things that maybe I could bake at the same time, and also just kind of coming up with a game plan when it comes to bulk batch baking, cooking, when you are making big batches of food. The best thing you can do is take a couple of minutes, just really assess your recipes and how you can attack it and have different things going at the same time. So that's what we're doing. So we're starting out by getting some rice cooking for one of the meals that we will assemble a little bit later, but we want to get this rice made up for sure. So I'm gonna get that on the stovetop over here. I am cooking this rice with chicken broth just to give it some extra flavor. I'm gonna turn that on. And then in this pot over here, I'm starting some water because we're going to be making up some pasta in here in just a bit. While all of that is going on, I am going to start into some chopping because we have some veggies and things that we need to cut up. Had to hunt down my cutting board, or this one in particular, because my children were using it to cut toast earlier. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is line 2 sheet pans because I have 2 sheet pan meals that we are going to make up here. And it just makes cleanup easier whenever you line your pans. So the first one we're gonna do is a sweet potato sheet pan meal with green beans. We're gonna do up some garlic green beans along with some sausage. So we'll put all of that together, and these can be roasted at the same temperature. So I'm gonna be able to put them in at the same time, have 2 meals going on. And the great thing about sheet pan meals is generally you're getting your protein and your sides all in one shot. So it makes it very simple. And if you haven't noticed, I'm on a little bit of a time crunch today. And the reason for that is because I am visiting a friend, and that friend needs a little bit of a pick-me-up in life right now. So I'm actually taking these meals to my friend, and we're gonna portion them out a bit differently. So a lot of these meals, the serving size would be, if you think of more like a 9x13 pan, and a couple of them actually are supposed to go into a 9x13 pan. But instead of doing that, my friend needs the portions to be a bit smaller. So we are going to take these meals and actually divide them in half and give my friend some more meals. That way they have more than just one big, huge serving that they might not be able to use up at one time. So we are going to go ahead and portion it up for them the way that they need it, which is so great. I say that all the time when it comes to freezer meal preps. And these meals could all go into the freezer as a freezer meal prep, as well as be incorporated into a weekly meal prep ahead of time. These are great ahead of time meals. And that's one thing about oven meals, especially if you kind of get them to the point where they're ready to be popped in to the oven. They just make such great meal prep meals. And also huge fan of like one dish meals, which again is what we're doing right now. Gonna get rid of these peels so we can chop these guys up. Hey friends, we're gonna take a quick break from our prep today to tell you about today's video sponsor, Hawaiian. I know a little while ago I shared with you that we have started using Hawaiian as a great way for my kids to get good quality vitamins in. I have been super guilty of giving them those sugary gummies that are kind of candy in disguise, if you know what I'm talking about. And we have been so thrilled with the quality of Hawaiian and the fact that our kids actually enjoy taking it. You all know that I'm pretty sugar conscious with my family, and it is really challenging to look for good quality vitamins for your kids that aren't loaded with sugar. Haya has created a superpower chewable vitamin that I know I can trust, and I know it's filling in the gaps in my children's diet. Through these chewable vitamins, Haya has created a full body nourishment along with a taste that my children like. Formulated with the help of pediatricians and nutritional experts, Haya is pressed with a blend of 12 organic fruits and veggies, then supercharged with 15 vitamins and minerals. These help support brain function, energy, mood, teeth, bone health, and so much more. As I mentioned, sugar is a concern for me when it comes to what my kids are eating, and a lot of kids' gummy vitamins have 5 grams or more of sugar, but good news is Haya has 0 sugar. It's non-GMO, vegan, dairy-free, allergen-free, gelatin-free, nut-free, and everything else you can imagine. My children are all about making things their own right now in life, and Haya makes that possible by their personal bottles. They had so much fun decorating them and just making their names or other words that they really enjoyed on the bottles, and that just motivates them all the more to remember to take them and enjoy them. And I don't know about your kids, but mine do not eat their greens every day. Spinach is not something that they're asking to eat. However, since we have started using Haya, they definitely request the greens powder. It tastes like chocolate milk. They love it. They're always asking if they get to make their chocolate milk for the day. And that is just perfect because they don't even realize all the nutrients they are getting in that drink. We usually just whip up the kids' daily greens plus superfoods powder with our favorite milk, and they drink it no problem. It's packed with 55 plus super ingredients to support brain power, development, and digestion. Haya is offering my viewers 50% off your first purchase. Go to hayahealth.com/Adaline to get 50% off of your order. So go to hayahealth.com/Adaline and get your kids full body nourishment they need to grow into healthy adults. We are going to be tossing some things in oil. So I have a big pan here and I've got my green beans. So the sweet potato and the sausage are actually going to go into a honey garlic sauce, but the green beans we are not going to put into that sauce. So we're going to do them first in this pan with just salt, olive oil, and a little bit of garlic. And so they're going to be more like a garlic green bean without the sweetness of the honey. So I'm just gonna go ahead and prep them first so that I can use the same bowl for everything. Just going to make these into more manageable pieces. I did preheat my oven, so that is already ready to go with these as soon as I have them ready. And I would love to hear from you all. This helps me out just knowing like what to film and what you all enjoy seeing. But is oven meals something you enjoy seeing, or would you rather skillet meals? What do you tend to use the most? Or when you're looking at recipes online, what do you tend to gravitate towards? Your feedback always helps me out just in content creation and to know which meals that I'm making in the week I film and which ones maybe you don't really, care about seeing. It just helps me to know what you guys like to watch. All right, I actually took some of my frozen minced garlic, that's why I'm holding it with a towel, and I put it in to the oven since the oven is warm, and I just thawed it out a little bit so that I can quickly mix it into all of this. We're also going to add some olive oil to this and salt. Just toss it all together. And we're gonna kind of make this into 3 sections here. So we'll do I think I'm going to do the green beans in the middle because I have a feeling the sweet potatoes will get done a little bit better on the edge. Now we're gonna cut these into nice bite-sized pieces, and I say this about every time I cut up potatoes, but one of the main things with potatoes is just to make sure that everything is as uniform as possible. Our rice is done, and I'm just gonna let it sit and kind of finish steaming on the back here. And this is ready for our pasta. This is the pasta that I'm using. It's gluten-free. And like I said, this will actually be put into 2 separate servings. We're gonna let that sit for about 10 minutes. So I was cutting up this sausage and decided to throw it in with the sweet potatoes for the sauce. Thought my camera was on, here it wasn't. So here we are with the sausage cut up. So it's just a ring sausage, and it is a turkey. I just thought that would work really well with this, but you could use any flavor, and we're gonna go ahead and put the sauce on this now. So obviously we're starting out with some honey. Got our minced garlic that I thawed in the oven. You can use soy sauce, or I like coconut aminos as a soy-free alternative to soy sauce. And I personally actually just like the flavor better than soy sauce. We got a bit of olive oil. And a little bit of salt. Simple, simple, but delicious. And I'm going to really toss this, especially because that honey is really sticky. You want to make sure everything gets tossed well. And if you hear those noodles, they are just boiling away behind the camera. Oh, this smells delicious. So good. I love anything honey garlic. Just so, so good. You guys probably can guess that by now if you've been watching for a long time. I make a lot of things with some similar flavors to this. Now, like I said, was thinking of putting the sausage on one side and the sweet potatoes on the other, but since we just combined them, we're gonna throw them all on one end of the pan and get started on our other one. And keep an eye on those noodles. Okay. This is so fast. Like, you're gonna be amazed at how quickly we whip up quite a few meals here. And they're so good. So, so good. Okay, I just strained this pasta off, and anytime I need just a couple more minutes, and I know this is going to sit for just a minute while I am putting the rest of the next sheet pan meal together. I put a little oil or butter into the pasta so it doesn't stick together, and it just works so beautifully. So I'm just going to toss this around in here and then put the lid back on, and we'll come back to it in just a minute. All right, so we are going to make up a Hawaiian sheet pan meal next, and it's going to have chicken in it. And the recommendation is to serve it over rice. So I did my friend a little favor, and I got some packets of the easy rice. That's all you got to do is warm it up. So super, super easy. Just thinking ahead a little bit on that. So I'm going to flip my cutting board over, and we'll flip it back over here in a second. The reason I'm doing that is because I actually need to grab a different knife. I also got a container, but I'm not going to need this entire pineapple for this meal, so the other half of it I'm going to use for just our family to eat fresh this week. And so I am digging into this and expecting to put some of it into that container. I just flipped the cutting board over because I had cut up the sausage on there, and everything else that's here is going to go into the oven. There's not going to be any problems with raw things and uncooked things or whatever you want to call it. So I just wanted to use a different knife, which this is not the best knife for this, but here we are, and use the other side of the cutting board. Now, I have made quite a few pineapple type meals in my day, and one thing that I have noticed about doing this, and I'm careful about, is not making your pineapple pieces too big. Definitely going on the smaller side is better, because they can just feel really awkward to eat if you cut your chunks too big. So I think I said this when I was talking about the rice, but this will be eaten over like a jasmine rice, and it'll be super, super yummy. Again, kind of like all one meal in one pan. So nice. I love that concept. Saves you time and energy. So I'm actually going to get a measuring cup because it says around 2 cups of chunks. So that way I kind of know when to start putting chunks into my storage container over here. I love pineapple. Pineapple is so good, and I eat a lot of really low sugar in my diet, and pineapple is so high in sugar. So it's not something that I eat tons and tons of for sure. I love all the colors that we've got going on. So some of these bell peppers are going to go into our rice dish we're making, and then one of them is supposed to go into this. So since I have these sitting here, I figured why not use 2 different colors in this and really make it colorful and cheery looking. I think that this will be a beautiful dish to dig into, and you always eat with your eyes before you do with your mouth. So I'm just going to cut these into nice bite-sized pieces. I did rinse out my bowl from earlier, so we're just going to start adding everything in here together. This one, just you toss everything together. Then to add to the color, we've got a purple or red onion, whatever you prefer to call it. That is amazing. I don't know that I've ever had an onion bleed like that. Wow, that's really crazy. And then when we cut into this, we're gonna just do kind of chunks again, a little bit like we did with the pepper. And somebody was asking in the comments the other day about how I cut onions and like not cry, and like right now my eyes are watering so bad. So just because I don't say anything about it doesn't mean that it's not happening. Okay, so I waited until last to do my protein, which is some chicken breasts right now. And we are going to slice them. I'm gonna grab this other knife again. We are going to cut it into just like dicing it, I guess would be the right way to say it. Sometimes, you guys, I am filming videos and words escape me. I don't always have the right words, okay? We are going to kind of cube it up here and throw it in with the peppers and the onions, and then I will be putting the pineapple chunks in as well. I love the taste of pineapple in savory things. It's so good, and even whenever we order like from an Asian restaurant, if they can add pineapple to my fried rice, that is just delicious. Something I really need to do is go through and sharpen my knives. I have not done that for a while, and I keep like shuffling through the knives to get the sharpest one. And I seriously need to just take a few minutes with my sharpener. Maybe I can do that later today and sharpen all of my knives. Just go through, do even my paring knives and everything. All right, I'm gonna get this mess out of here, and then we will get the sauce incorporated. To be honest, the sauce for this is actually kind of similar to what we just made, but we have this really acidic pineapple juice that's going to be mixed in, and that's just going to give a whole other set of flavors. So we've got our soy sauce or coconut aminos, some olive oil, some garlic powder, just toning the garlic back in comparison to the fresh minced garlic in the other dish. And then a little bit of smoked paprika. Now we are just going to mix everything together before we put it onto the sheet pan. And again, this will be eaten over rice, so that's why there isn't a potato or something like that in this. Okay, so on this sheet pan we go. Now I have my oven preheated to 400 degrees, and we're gonna put both of these in for about 25-30 minutes. Obviously I'll make sure the chicken is fully cooked. This sausage is already fully cooked. So we're just waiting for those sweet potatoes to soften up. I think it should all do very well in about 30 minutes. And while that's happening, we can work on our other recipes. And I kind of feel like I should just take a little extra sprinkle of salt on this. I'm just looking at this chicken, kind of thinking maybe a little bit of extra. Okay, now we're gonna go into the oven with both of these things. I've got both of my cast iron skillets going here. I just put them on a medium heat. So what is behind the skillet is actually what the dish is for. So this is a pound of ground sausage that is going to go into a ziti recipe with the pasta back here. And then this is a pound of beef that is going to go with our rice back here for a separate recipe. The rice and the ground beef are for a stuffed bell pepper rice casserole, and I have actually made that before, and the last time I made it, my family was just like, we have to keep this on a regular rotation. It is such an easy meal. If you like the flavors of the stuffed bell pepper, but you're not really crazy about how the whole bell pepper roasts, it sometimes can be hard to time cooking the insides of the bell pepper and the outsides. If you've ever tried it, you know what I'm talking about. So this recipe sort of solves that problem by making it all chopped up for you, but you still have all of those really good bell pepper flavors. So we are going to cut up a small onion for this recipe, and we're going to put that in with the ground beef. So I'm just dicing this up, and actually I was gonna dice it up a little smaller than this. I might give it another good chop here. I did clean up a little if you didn't notice. Kind of got everything reset to delve into these recipes. And my house is already smelling just delicious with what is in the oven already. You can decide if you want to use, I'm using red, yellow, and orange, but if you would like to use green bell pepper, you can. Green bell pepper is just something I'm not a super huge fan of. I will use it at times in recipes, but if I have the choice of whatever color I want to use, red is definitely my favorite, and then just to make it more colorful, I decided to go with the yellow and orange. And my eyes, the tears, they're real. And I know you guys have given me every tip in the book on how to do this and not have it bother your eyes, but you know what? I just power through. That's what I do. I'm also going to cut these bell peppers on the smaller size as well. It'll just help the flavors to all combine into every bite. I think about the bite. You know, when you take a bite of something, what all do you want in that bite? And if you can get everything in it, all of the different bell peppers and onions and everything in with the rice, it's perfect. before I add the onions and peppers into this, I'm actually going to go ahead and salt and pepper the meat. Gonna turn my pan back just a bit and mix this all in. All right, our meats have had a moment to cook, and I'm gonna make a spot in the middle of the sausage here to put a bit of garlic in. And I'm just using a little bit of my frozen minced garlic. All right, so to our stuffed bell pepper casserole, we're gonna add in some diced tomato and also some tomato sauce. We're gonna add in some W sauce, Italian seasoning. Now we're gonna add in our rice that we had cooked up. We're gonna let all of these flavors cook together and combine. We're gonna add our sausage into the pot for the baked ziti. To this, I'm adding 2 jars of marinara. Jar number 2, and some Italian seasoning. We're gonna stir all this together, and then we are going to get shredding our cheese and pull out the ricotta to layer in with this. We've got stuff cooling back here. We've got stuff ready to be put into pans over there, and we are going to shred up some cheese. I decided to pull out my food processor. You all know that I do shred a lot of cheese by hand around here, but decided to go ahead and get this guy out to help me out today. So for the top of the stuffed bell pepper rice situation, we are going to use some cheddar and maybe a little bit of farmer's cheese. Farmer's cheese, I talk about that, have been talking about that for a while. It's something we just use a lot of. And these recipes, particularly the baked ziti, called for mozzarella, and it's like a sister to mozzarella in my opinion. And of course, there might be some real cheese connoisseurs out there that would argue the differ. But anyways, we are going to go ahead and shred up some farmer's cheese and probably end up using some on both. And we're also going to do some parm as well. For the baked ziti, I already had a little test taste and it is so delicious. Actually, I'm kind of thinking I might do the parm first, because if I don't end up using all of it, then it's not mixed in with the other flavors. Now that our cheese is all ready to go to assemble these, I'm just gonna lay these out here. I did put hot pads under both of these for the rice that is still kind of simmering over there, just because I know that they are gonna be hotter, and I feel like I'm missing a pan, or there's one stuck together. So essentially we are taking all of these meals and making them into 2 meals. So let's go ahead and do our rice first. It just dawned on me to make sure that these, ooh, that came out fast, that these are all sprayed. This is an avocado oil spray, just to make things easier, to make sure it all gets baked nicely. We're gonna add in the cheddar cheese, and this is basically what you do on the top of a stuffed bell pepper, is you put the cheese on. That's usually the part everybody loves about stuffed bell peppers, is that cheesy top. And it does seem like I have enough cheddar here to finish both of these off, and so I won't add in any of the farmer's cheese. Next, we're gonna build our baked ziti. So first, I'm going against the instructions a little bit on this, but that's okay. Also, the broken noodles is kind of what comes with using gluten-free pasta. It just doesn't always keep, the noodles don't always keep together, but it'll be all right in this. So we're gonna make a layer on the bottom of the pan of the sauce and the meat with the pasta. But you want just a layer that covers everything. You'll also want to make sure you're using about half of what is in your pot. Next, we're going to take some ricotta and add in some very small dollops. Do that over here. I'm going to get a fork and sort of mix this in before we put a layer of cheese. It doesn't have to be perfect because of course my friend will put this in their oven, but at least sort of spreading it through. Now we're gonna add in some cheese. This is when you like take a fork full of the pasta and the cheese like strings out of the sauce. Oh, so yummy. And this cheese is very stringy and melty, farmer's cheese, and so it just works so well. Anytime I make a dish with this cheese in it the last little while, because I've been using it more heavily, my husband always says how good it is. And I'm like, it's that cheese you like. All right, so now we're gonna take our sauce pasta mixture. We're gonna put the rest of what we have left in the pans. Now this time I'm going to top off the cheese with the parm. Alrighty, so now we're ready to dish up. Oop, we got some cheese in this pan. Now we're ready to dish up our sheet pan meals. And again, this will be so simple to reheat. And I'm just going to divide what's on the pan in half between the two foil pans. These green beans look absolutely delicious. I need to do green beans like this more often. I usually do them in my skillet, but I just forget how easy they actually are to roast in the oven. I like the variety of meals we have going on here too. And this is the meal with the pineapple in it, and then this is the one that I'm going to send with the packets of jasmine rice to eat this on top of. So I'm going to let these cool down while I get ready to go and deliver these and meet with my friend. I'm really excited to be able to take these, and I'm gonna wrap them, probably put foil on top and write what's in them, how to reheat them, all of those types of things. But thanks a lot for jumping into my day with me today and just hanging out with me. I hope you found some inspiration out of this. This is such an example of how fast you can make up meals. I mean, this is 4 different recipes that are done very quickly, and they are super easy to reheat and to eat. Some of them are almost complete meals. You know, you don't need a lot of sides or anything, and really with different types of proteins as well. So if you've got chicken in your refrigerator and you're looking for something, you can easily replace, like in the ziti, you could put chicken in there instead of using the beef. You could swap it out. I'm always encouraging you all to think outside the box. Use what you have in your refrigerators and freezers for your meal plan this week. If you're sitting there writing out your meal plan while you're watching this, it's not that hard to get a little creative with what you have on hand and swap it out. Definitely look at recipes with an open mind. Whenever you are looking at recipes, doesn't mean you have to use every single ingredient. There might be a spice in there that you don't have. Don't worry about it, skip over it and just make the dish. Don't make an extra trip to the store just for that spice, or maybe purchase it and it's not working with your budget. So definitely make what works work for you. And if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Leave me a comment below. I love hearing from you all. Give this video a like, that always helps me out, and I'll see you guys in my next video.